Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Today's issue of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, August 19th, 2022. And the front page, this is an exciting day for Minnedosa. Squirrel Hills Trail Park received $75,000 development grant. And pictured are the government officials and HyLife Recreation Board members at Squirrel Trails Park on August 12th to announce a brand new funding boost. Pictured are VLR Board Member Richard Dupuis, Municipal Relations Minister Eileen Clark, Mayor Pat Scatch, VLR Board Members Dominique Hampton and Tom Instance, and VLR Board Chair Dave Tournier. This is by Casper Warren. Minnedosa's Squirrel Hills Trail Park was the stage for a significant announcement on the morning of August 12th. Municipal Relations Minister Eileen Clark, on behalf of Environment, Climate and Parks Minister Jeff Wharton, met with Mayor Pat Scatch and HyLife Recreation representatives Dave Tournier, Tom Instance, Dominique Hampton and Richard Dupuis to declare a new boost in funding for the park's upcoming developments. There are some big announcements in our larger centers, but out here in the rural Minnedosa, it's very important that we acknowledge the hard work that's being done by the community, said Clark. The past few years have shown us how important trails are to Manitoba. The minister stated that a grant of $75,000 is being given to HyLife Recreation through the Trails Manitoba grant program. This is part of a $970,000 total investment into recreational trails throughout Manitoba as a whole. The funds received by HyLife Recreation are being added to the savings currently set aside for the construction of the new mountain biking trails and trail enhancements. With this funding and a yet-to-be-announced additional funding source, HyLife Recreation has put together a total of $521,000 through fundraising, donations, and government funding sources. This brings the recreational group ever closer to their total projected cost of $658,000. This project is a great benefit to our community. It is enhancing the health, fitness, and well-being of our community members, as well as bringing visitors to this beautiful valley, said Scatch. There's this artist's rendition. It's very difficult to see, but it gives an idea of what the trail would be like. Thank you to the provincial government for your support. This is an exciting day for our community, said Scatch. HyLife Recreation's Dave Tournier remarked that during a recent trip to BC, he spent many hours exploring the outdoors and talking to people with experience in trails. As well, he has been talking to others visiting existing mountain bike and multi-use trails in Canada and Manitoba. While the people in BC have excelled for decades at trail infrastructure, they also, with equal fascination, are watching what's happening here in Minnedosa, said Tournier. People have been amazed to find, too, that they can find incredible trails such as this without going to BC. He added, Manitoba has a unique beauty and places to explore. Through leadership and funding commitments like those being announced today, and with careful planning, design, and construction, we truly believe that Manitoba will create more trail-based experience that the world will come here to explore. Trails have played an important role in Manitoba. Tournier highlighted their Indigenous use over the course of history, and the recreational use trails now serve today. Over the past couple of years, HyLife Recreation has observed an increase in trail usage. Part of this is due to people looking for a lower carbon impact way to recreate. However, those aren't the only benefits HyLife Recreation's board has observed. Trails are cited as one of the lowest cost investments in recreation while, at the same time, over-delivering when it comes to improving the health of the members of the community, making places attractive to live and work in, and when it comes to the benefits of tourism, to explore and to travel, Tournier explained. We can't wait to invite the world here to experience the coming Squirrel Hills Trail Park in Minnedosa. The Squirrel Hills Trail Park bike project was initially publicly announced on July 12, 2021, with construction hopeful and currently still on track for sometime in 2022. At present, Tournier was able to disclose that DIG Trail Design has been awarded the contract. Although there is no solid date for the construction yet, it is estimated that once the ground is able to be broken, it will take 6 to 8 weeks. Trail detailing will then be determined throughout the winter and implemented in 2023. History and support. Tom Instance, who has long been involved with Squirrel Hills, remarked that he is quite thrilled with these recent developments. I've been involved with the existing trails since 1991. It was me and a group of other cross-country skiers looking for a place in the bush to ski locally, said Instance. It's nice to see the area will be utilized more and attract more people. Since this was originally designed for skiing and snowshoeing in winter and hiking in the warmer months, these bike trails will certainly expand its uses. Instance still provides regular trail maintenance and grooms the trails every winter for cross-country skiing. Anyone wishing to support the coming trail developments can find options to do so at www.valleyliferec.ca. HyLife launches pork product line at Neepawa Freshmart by Kira Patterson. Pictured above, HyLife's food truck and some of their representatives were at Freshmart on August 10th to celebrate the launch of their products in the store. Pictured front from left, Trevor Lizotte, Tyler Lazaruk, J.P. Charpentier, Tim Focht. Back left, Nicholas Charpentier and Donna Balagulan. And on the right, Kelly and Blake Rowe, owners of Neepawa Freshmart, show off some of HyLife's products in their new branded display at the store. HyLife Foods has found one more way to get their branding out in the community. On Wednesday, August 10th, the company unveiled their new line of pork products at Neepawa Freshmart. The launch event featured the new HyLife food truck offering up free samples of some of their most popular pork products. The HyLife display in the meat department was also unveiled inside the store. It's long overdue that we start to market our pork in our backyard a little bit more, expressed Trevor Lizotte, HyLife's Senior Director of Sales. That's not to say we're going to go nationally necessarily with it, but certainly in the areas that we work in, Neepawa, Steinbach, those areas, we wanted to make sure that we are giving Manitobans the opportunity to buy our pork. HyLife branding. Blake Rowe, owner of Neepawa Freshmart, noted that they have had pork from the HyLife for a number of years, but now they have the HyLife branding, and they're selling a few different kinds of products from what Freshmart offered before. We have some new products that HyLife has come up with, Rowe stated. This new line of their product is a little bit different. I think they send a lot of it to Japan, so we're trying it on a local scale, local markets now. And it is very good. We have tried it and it's very, very tasty. He added that they are very happy to be able to offer a product that is so local to the community. Quality pork. HyLife's corporate chef, J.P. Charpentier, noted that they have always touted the quality of their pork, and now it's more accessible for people to try it for themselves. The free samples that were given out at the launch included their pork steak, seasoned with Charpentier's own blend of spices. We are very proud of our pork steak, Charpentier expressed, noting that it's one of HyLife's signature products. What is better than beef steak is our pork steak, he enthused. Tyler Lazaruk, HyLife Executive Director of Sales, added that the company is very happy that it can now give locals a place from which to purchase their product. The number one question I'm always asked from family, friends, anyone local is, where can we get your product? He stated. So now it's exciting that we can finally point to a place and say, yeah, you can come here and buy our product. And one of our company values is to be part of our community, valuing our community members too. So this is just one step further in that direction. Back in June, HyLife also launched their pork at a local retailer in Steinbach, Earl's Meat Market. While the company's largest processing plant, their only one in Canada, is located in Neepawa, HyLife's headquarters are located in La Broquerie, only a few minutes down the road from Steinbach. HyLife considers both Neepawa and Steinbach to be their backyard communities. A really big deal. Our branded product is a really big deal to us, sold around the world to a lot of different markets. And just now, all these years in, we're able to bring it to our communities to share the experience, said Tim Vogt, HyLife marketing coordinator. HyLife has been working alongside Neepawa to grow the community for a very long time, and we're excited to continue doing that in many more ways. And what better way to do that than with food? The Rolling Barrage returns to Neepawa by Owen Devereaux, and pictured several community groups showed support for the cause of the Rolling Barrage when it came through Neepawa on August 11th. All the money raised by the group goes to support those living with PTSD. Top, the Neepawa Legion donated $500 to the Rolling Barrage. Middle, the Neepawa Legion Ladies Auxiliary donated $1,000. And bottom, the Brandon Firefighters Charity Fund donated $1,500. An annual cross-country pilgrimage in support of sufferers of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, once again hit the streets of Neepawa. The Rolling Barrage motorcycle rally arrived on Thursday, August 11, with about 40 riders in tow. Although a smaller gathering than had been seen last year was around to welcome them to town, the greeting was still a genuine and gracious one at the Royal Canadian Legion branch number 23 in Neepawa. Several community groups from across Westman, including the Legion 500, the Royal Canadian Legion Ladies Auxiliary 1,000, and the Brandon Firefighters Charity Fund 1,500 gave donations to the barrage. As well, several individuals offered cash donations to the rally, which is a fundraiser to support organizations that help serving armed forces members, veterans, and first responders suffering from PTSD. Paul Harmon, the National Executive Chair for the Rolling Barrage, said the support they receive from the area is amazing and humbling. The generosity of the region, its people, is just, they take care of one another and they take care of others. And these donations are just exemplary of that sentiment, stressed Harmon. I'm overwhelmed. I'm a little bowled over from this. Just literally people walking up and handing us money out of pocket to go to support the cause. That just shows the caring hearts of people here in Neepawa and the surrounding area. You can't beat that. Jim Gordon, who is director with the Rolling Barrage, echoed those remarks and thanked Neepawa for showing just how special the community truly is. The purpose of the barrage. The Rolling Barrage features a group of motorcycle riders traveling from Halifax to Vancouver over the month of August. The trip is looking to create awareness, raise funds, and give therapeutic support to those suffering from the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The concept was thought up by Corporal retired Scott Casey back in 2016 and first operated the following year. Casey envisioned a national cross-country motorcycle ride helping to fight the stigma of PTSD. While post-traumatic stress disorder has been designated since 1982 by the American Medical Association, it is still largely misunderstood condition by many. Helping people to understand it is a big part of the campaign. For more information, visit the Rolling Barrage's Facebook page or website at rollingbarrage.com. Home Buddies, Enough to Share by Rita Friesen. In my litany of thank yous to the divine, I am thankful to be able to include the phrase, "Thank you that I have enough and to share." It has not always been so. Part of this is due in part that I am old and my needs and wants are less than they were years ago. Part of this is due in part to a degree of financial security that I never envisioned enjoying. Rereading the treasured book this week, Anne Voskamp, The Broken Way, the chapter entitled The Miracle in Your Pocket That Breaks Stress, encouraged me to continue to find ways to share my time, my energy, my caring, and sometimes my resources. A study from Yale said the best way to deal with stress is to do a small act of generosity for someone else. Researchers had asked 77 adults to record 3 things each day for weeks, any and all stressful events experienced, and any and all helpful acts, like opening a door for someone, helping a child with homework, or loaning anything. And that was the full stop epiphany of the research. Helping behaviors seem to buffer the negative effects of stress. Slowly reading that, pausing to reflect, I wondered if some of the stress of the first onslaught of the pandemic was buffered by the fact that most of us went out of our way to be kind and considerate to others in our time of isolation. The drive-by birthday greetings, the honk-as-you-go-by celebrations for recoveries, the cards and calls so many of us made to people we care and about. We were de-stressing by offering blessings. It gets even better. People overall did 1 or 2 acts of kindness per day, but what was the most important was when they did more than 1 or 2 a day. We saw a benefit in their well-being. One first thinks of these thoughts are rather counter to the lessons of self-care. Voices around us encourage us to take time to place our needs first, and I agree to a point, for if I burn out, then I am little blessing to anyone. But if I can boost my energy and spirit by being kind to others, who loses? I love that the list of acts of giving involved listening, helping, being present. The list did not say we needed to hand out money, though there is a time for that as well. As these ideas settled in, I realized that too many times when I have blessed someone with a smile, I expected a smile in return. And if I gave away my place in line to another, I expected a thank you. Wait a minute, then I'm giving with expectations, and that isn't a true gift. It also made me see how young parents, busy and tired beyond comprehension, well beyond anything they expected, need our words of encouragement, and perhaps a few actual acts of kindness. Heck, that goes for everyone of every age. I still appreciate words and acts. May we all become willing to care. Thumbs up, thumbs down. A huge thumbs up to the individuals maintaining the flowers at the school bell, both schools, and the cemetery in Carberry, from Ed and Norma Drabeck. Moments in Rocky Mountain National Park, Saskatoon Heaven. I have been thinking about Saskatoons lately and thought I should revisit them in this month's article. I say revisit, as I wrote about them in 2013 in response to a bumper crop of wild Saskatoons. This year has been the exact opposite. Despite foraging far and wide, I have been disappointed to see very limited crop of wild Saskatoons this year, with only a few bushes bearing fruit. I was reluctant to give up on my winter supply of Saskatoon jam, so Ray and I picked some great berries at a berry farm in Minnedosa instead. The owner said it was a bumper year for berries, and we enjoyed picking huge berries without fighting mosquitoes, hazelbrush, and poison ivy. At one time, I considered myself a purist, turning up my nose at the thought of picking farmed Saskatoons, exclaiming that the tame ones weren't as tasty as wild ones. After many years of hit-and-miss wild crops, however, I have placed getting a stable winter supply over my taste buds' objections. What can I say? I'm a shallow human being. Back in 2013, I mentioned that Saskatoons are a favorite across the prairies. In fact, not only a favorite, but apparently Canadian prairie folk are a rare breed in our adoration of this underrated berry. For example, Ray and I were visiting our daughter, Cathy, in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. As it was our wont, we were combining 2 of our favorite activities, taking a hike and searching for berries. Expecting to pick blueberries, we found, much to our amazement, the motherlode of wild Saskatoons instead. So, while our fellow berry pickers from Newfoundland were looking down in search of blueberries, our sights were set on the branches above our heads. Apparently, based on the odd looks and queries we received while we picked, Newfoundlanders are generally unaware of the virtue of Saskatoons, and thus we had the berry patch all to ourselves. Admittedly, my thoughts about berry picking are intrinsically wrapped up with the feelings of nostalgia. Picking is and was a family affair in the Kingdon household, and not just Saskatoons. When school ended, we would arrange to meet with relatives to pick strawberries, marking the beginning of the berry season. Next, as August loomed on the horizon, our eyes would turn to the Saskatoon berry patch. One of our favorite picking spots was at our cousin Barry's pasture, where we were joined by various aunts, uncles, and cousins. I can imagine it was a great opportunity for my parents to reconnect with family. Spring and early summer was a busy time on the farm, with Dad working long hours to get the crops planted and then sprayed. With no school, Mum had her hands full keeping 7 kids in line, and so any outing with other adults must have been a welcome diversion. Saskatoon picking was done after supper, as the day began to cool. In my mind's eye, the weather was always calm, cloudless, and hot, with the sun just starting to slide down in the western sky. The grasshoppers would rise in clouds as we walked through the scratchy grass to the bush ends, while the goldfinches and waxwings marked where the best berries were located. At the patch, Dad was the picker to beat. He could pick a pail of saskatoons faster than the rest of us combined, although we kids may have been handicapped by the fact that we ate as many berries as we put in our pails. Mom and Auntie Marg would reconnect and trade the latest news on family and neighbors. There was always lots of teasing and laughter, and occasionally one of the adults would have to shout at us children to keep picking as our efforts and our attention began to flag. Then, just as we started to whine louder than the mosquitoes, a beautiful sunset would mark the end of the pick. When I admit that my memories have been a rosy tint to them, I consider these excursions to be one of the highlights of summers past. I also suspect that these memories are shared with others. I remember my great-aunt Cathy picking saskatoons along the road allowance next to their farm at Basswood, my cousins helping out, bonding over the berry pail. Which begs the question, are there fewer wild saskatoons now, and are they less productive than they once were? I suspect the answer to that first question is yes, as more road allowances are put into crop production, as well as the number of semi-native pastures and haylands have declined. Areas where saskatoons traditionally flourished along the fence line. As for the question of productivity, I am less certain. Maybe the saskatoon production was always hit and miss, and we just had more secret spots to search out when our favorite patches weren't producing. I tend to be an optimist, and I am happy that we have enough saskatoons for this year. I'll worry about next year in the spring. Now, if I can just find a good patch of ripe cranberries in about 3 weeks' time. And this was submitted by Ken Kinden. And we'll continue on. Whoop, one more page. Neepawa lines to complete Stony Creek School restoration by Casper Warehan. Care for Neepawa's historic buildings is shown throughout history. One example is the petitioning in 1982 of thousands of people to keep the beautiful Plains County Court building, which still stands and is used today, intact. The Stony Creek Schoolhouse, located at Riverbend Park, is no exception. The Neepawa Lions Club is now working towards completing the restoration of the school as a heritage building. This is hoped to be achieved through its freshly started 50-50 ticket sales. This is one of many projects the Neepawa Lions Club has to offer for our community's betterment, said the Lions. The Stony Creek Schoolhouse preserves as a meeting place for the Lions, as a day camp for the town of Neepawa in the summer. Retired teachers there meet there for a day of memories and much more. Tickets are available at both Harris Pharmacy and your dollar store, with more in packs of 3 for $5. Anyone wishing to support the project by participating in the draw will have the chance to do so until September 5th. That day is when the draw will be made and the winner of the 50-50 declared. And pictured is the Stony Creek Schoolhouse located at Riverbend Park in Neepawa. The school is historic to the area and is still used by a variety of groups. And group seeks to revitalize the histories of Huns Valley, Polonia, and more by Casper Warehan. A new history book is currently in the making. Will Smith and team members Denise Kolasar, Norma Kirkowicz, Dwayne Stewart, and Maxine Woodcock are all on a mission to gather stories for a brand new telling of the history for Huns Valley, Polonia, and the surrounding communities. A history book for the area entitled Along the Hills to the Valley was first printed approximately 35 years ago, but has long since been out of print and did not cover all families or surrounding communities. The second volume is hoped to encapsulate all of that, preserving that history for generations to come. The second volume will take on the same name as the first, with the added subtitle, A Celebration of Heritage. The history team told the Banner and Press that they are inviting people to submit family stories and photo submissions for this second edition, with the expected publication date to be in 2023. Excuse me. To continue this story, we need everyone's help, said the team. The second volume will expand on family stories that were in the first publication. This includes the school districts of Polonia, Empire, and Elk Ranch. New family stories from this area, both past and present, are welcome as well. The school districts of Big Valley, Clarksville, Spring Hill, and Iroquois are in the planning stages, along with the communities of Murchison, Mountain Road, and Kerrs Lake. Anyone with stories and photos for these areas are asked to send their submissions to the team as well. Send us stories you were told that others will find interesting. School stories, community life, traditions you observed, said the team. If you have any families in the military, submit their stories as well. Those wishing to make a submission are asked to submit them digitally via a coheritage@gmail.com or a hard copy via Box 1358 Minnedosa, ROJ1EO. The team also stressed that this is meant to be a visual history, so photos are doubly important. Anyone with a photo to submit should contact Will Smith via email at wrsmith@mymts.net or to mail it to the aforementioned mailing address. There are some space limitations to the history team will need to work around, so they may need to edit submissions or be unable to use some photos. The deadline for submissions is November 30th, 2022. Bergen and federal Tories prepare for Parliament. Interim Leader Manitoba Conservative Caucus holds strategy retreat in Onanol by Owen Devereaux. While many of us are still focused on the dog days of summer, the Manitoba Conservative Caucus is already turning its attention to the fall session of Parliament. And according to the Honourable Candace Bergen, interim leader of the federal party, they'll be heading back to Ottawa with a whole lot to talk about. Bergen, along with the other Tory MPs from across the province, gathered in Onanol on August 9th and 10th for a political retreat. During the event, Bergen took the time to speak with the Banner and press via telephone. In that interview, she stressed that the gathering gave them a chance to hear from local citizens on the topics that most concern them. It's wonderful to be here in Riding Mountain National Park. We've toured the area and met with some key stakeholders in the area. It's good to be on the ground out here, and it's good to be talking to people, hear what their concerns are, find ways that we can find solutions while at the same time holding this Liberal government to account, said Bergen. Really hear what's happening on the ground, what people are concerned about, and what we need to bring back to Ottawa when we go back in the fall. Bergen noted that the one item everyone seemed to want to bring up was the rising inflation rate. She noted this stressful reality has many of us at a breaking point. We've been doing a lot of talking about inflation and the effect that it's having. The financial strain is being felt everywhere. People are having difficulty affording the basics. They can't afford grow seeds. They can't afford gas for vehicles to be able to go to Winnipeg or Brandon to do the things they need to do, Bergen stated. Farmers fearful of fertilizer reduction requirements. As well, Bergen said they've been hearing a lot from farmers about a recent decision from the federal Liberals related to fertilizer reduction. The Trudeau government has announced a mandate for Canadian agribusinesses to reduce their use of nitrogen fertilizer in order to lower greenhouse GHG gas emissions. The plan would reduce nitrous oxide emissions associated with the synthetic nitrogen fertilizer to 30% below 2020 levels by 2030. Bergen said that the complete lack of discussion with farmers on the best practices related to this subject was shocking. Our producers are already using fertilizers just where needed. They are already operating in a sustainable, responsible way. So for this government to throw out this 30% reduction requirement and to not even consult or speak with farmers, it's remarkable. The Liberal government haven't got a hot clue as to the fact that Canadian producers are already way ahead of the curve when it comes to using fertilizer in a sustainable, responsible way. Bergen suggested that what is happening with the farming sector is quite similar to what Trudeau has already done in the oil and gas industry, preparing for Parliament and new leadership. Looking ahead to the fall, Bergen closed the conversation by noting that Conservative Party is very much looking forward to the resumption of Parliament, which will feature a new leader at the helm of the party. She expressed confidence that whomever is selected for the post will be able to hold the current NDP Liberal coalition in Ottawa accountable. Once the retreat was concluded, Bergen's also released the following statement on the conclusion of a successful Manitoba Caucus retreat. I would like to extend a warm thank you to Manitoba Caucus Chair Dan Maizière for welcoming our Manitoba Conservative team to the beautiful riding of Dolphin, Swan River, Neepawa this week. And here's a bit of history. Gladstones glowing glory years, a group sewing. This photo was featured in Chapter 7 of the project done up by the now gone Gladstone Age Press, known as Gladstones Glory Years. A year for this photo was not specified and names were not available. All that is known is that all the women pictured sewing together were presumed to be around age 16. If anyone knows the names of any of the individuals pictured here, send them to the Banner and Press via email to newsroom@neepawapress.com. Looking back, 1972, Gurmund Anderson says farewell to McCreary. The McCreary Volunteer Fire Brigade gathered to honor Assistant Fire Chief Gurmund Anderson in 1972. Anderson was set to leave McCreary for Neepawa, where he would make his new home. He had been a member of the brigade since 1955. Pictured from left to right, starting in the back row, Fred Tribell, Arnold Lindsay, Gurmund Anderson, Fred Graves, Chief, Bud Ward, and Bill Newman. Front row, Wilbur McKean, Russell Shannon, Village Council Representative, and Welf Doucette. 110 years ago, 1912, Neepawa being a Cree word meaning land of plenty, it was deemed appropriate by the pioneers to adopt the cornucopia as an emblem, the same being used on the town seal. We had heard no adverse criticism until recently when an aggravated resident remarked how appropriate the town emblem was for the Tin Horn Buncheon's control of civic affairs. An unlimited view of Glenbank scenery will be afforded the first person who correctly guesses the name of the man who made this remark. They called him Bill, and he runs a garage. August 1922. Eaton catalogs are going through the mails, making an appeal to the people for their trade. Goods are described, prices quoted, prompt and satisfactory service guaranteed, or money refunded. These catalogs constitute a guide to the purchasing public and must be reckoned with by merchants throughout Canada. Eaton's catalog publicity must be met by more personal and far-reaching newspaper publicity and the cash payments which permit of equalized prices. If not, the drift of trade with the cities will increase rather than decrease. The press is gratified to find that merchants using our columns are actually underselling Eaton in some lines and attracting more and more customers. 1932. A contingent of Neepawa Creters journeyed to Minnedosa Wednesday for a friendly game and left the laurels there. A number of men interested in this sport are trying to create an interest among the local sports fans that a few teams may be framed in the Neepawa next year. It is likely that the Minnedosa team will come to Neepawa next week for a return game. 1942. Burnie. Miss Kay Gibbons and her sister of Pipestone arrived last week to take up residence in Burnie. The former will commence her teaching duties in Burnie School Monday. 1952. Monday was election day in Neepawa. What excitement! What a commotion! Old-timers say there has never been anything quite like it before. Dudley Ewer was elected mayor over Wallace Coots with 1,053 votes against 318 for Mr. Coots. 1962. Field and garden crops lay in ruins between Neepawa and Spring Hill this week following a violent hailstorm Tuesday evening that for some was little short of disastrous. In the hard-hit area, Mr. Lee judged that crop damage would range up to 75 to 85%. 50 years ago, 1972, Brookdale Slackers hosted a ball tournament in Brookdale on Sunday with 24 men's and ladies teams entered. Brookdale Slackerettes won the ladies tournament and Clan William took first place in the men's tourney. A 16-unit motel is being built on Main Street West, Neepawa. Completion date is scheduled for the end of September. Each unit will be equipped with air conditioning, color TV, and electric heat. 1982. 7 residents of Touchwood Park packed their bags Monday and left for their new home at 131 Mill Street in Neepawa. Touchwood Administrator Bobby Scott said the new residence is just right for the group of women and was remodeled only slightly to accommodate the new tenants. Workmen have nearly finished renovating the front of Stedman's store in downtown Neepawa. Aluminum siding and new window frames replace the familiar facade that was known for decades in Neepawa as the A.E. Martin store. Purchased in 1974, the inside was remodeled about 4 years ago, said owner Betty McKelman. Members of McCreary Volunteer Fire Brigade honored Assistant Chief Gurmund Anderson Tuesday evening, August 8th, at their regular monthly fire drill practice, when Chief Fred Graves presented him with an engraved pen set for services rendered with the Volunteer Brigade, 1955 to 1972. Mr. Anderson and family will be leaving McCreary at the end of August to reside in Neepawa. 1992. The Summer Games torch runs takes off from Neepawa Collegiate tomorrow at 2:30. Runners will carry the torch through Neepawa, then down Highway 16. Each runner will carry the torch for 1 mile, accompanied by a police escort. 20 years ago, 2002, a Neepawa business owner, whose place was knocked off for the second time in 6 months, says it's time the town brought in 24-hour police patrols. And for once, Monty Simon is in full agreement with the Neepawa mayor, Ken Waddell. Simon was vehemently opposed to the site selected for the new personal care home, mounting a campaign to have it built in another location instead of the West Creek development. Waddell sat on the site selection committee. Early Friday morning, one of the front windows of Simon's Mountain Avenue Quick Cash, located next to the Hamilton Hotel, was smashed and a Sega game system was stolen. It was the only display window that wasn't covered with bars. HyLife Back 40 undergoing continual improvements, and by Kira Patterson. And pictured are parts of the HyLife Back 40 trail have lots of weeds and tall grass growing around obstacles, benches, and tables. Neepawa's manager of operations, Denise Cathy, assured the Banner and Press that the town and summer students there full-time working on keeping the park maintained. Some local residents have been voicing concerns over the maintenance of the HyLife Back 40 Trail Park lately. There have been some photos posted to Facebook in the last couple of weeks with comments that the trails have been overgrown and weeds are taking over the area. Denise Saquet, manager of the operations for the town of Neepawa, noted that people haven't visited the trails often enough to see that the conditions are continually being improved. He stated that the town has had 2 student employees at the Back 40 full-time this summer, maintaining the trails, planting trees, weed whacking, etc. Saquet said that after the town saw the complaints on Facebook, he went down to the park to see the state of the trails himself. He noted that one of the trails they took a picture of wasn't even an actual trail, and the other one was taken from the worst possible angle, and it really wasn't as bad as the photo made it look. There were some parts of the trail they couldn't take care of until recently, as there had been some heavy washouts from the snow and spring rain. Saquet explained that last week they had a group called Two-Wheel Revolution out for 2 days fixing the washed out trails. So even as of last week, the park is looking better than it has all year. Some of the areas are meant to be natural areas, so we're not going to groom the whole parcel, he explained. Some stuff has been done and some they still have to get to, he added. Another contributing factor to weed growth along the trails has to do with usage. Saquet noted that the trail park hasn't had as much use as they had expected it to, and if people were riding there more often, many of the weeds on the trails would have been able to grow. He explained that if people visited the Back 40 on a regular basis, they would see the continued improvements and would be also contributing to the maintenance just by using the trails. And pictured right here is the Two-Wheel Revolution was at the Back 40 last week making repairs to washed out sections of the trails. And pork producers celebrate Manitoba Teachers. This is submitted by Manitoba Manitoba Pork awarded 5 teachers across the province 750 Visa gift cards to be used for their classrooms. As part of Manitoba's Best Teacher contest hosted by Manitoba Pork, parents, guardians, students, staff, and others shared inspiring stories of teachers who have gone above and beyond to make a great impact on the lives of students and their communities during the 2021-2022 school year. This year's contest brought in 220 nominations from across the province, telling stories of mentorship, philanthropy, and incredible dedication to both the teaching profession and to students. Manitoba Pork awarded 5 grand prizes to teachers across the province, consisting of a $750 Visa gift card to be used for their classroom, as well as a catered pork-based lunch for the teachers and staff of the winning schools. 5 additional teachers received 250 Visa gift cards to put towards improving their schools. Thank you to Manitoba Teachers for all your hard work. You play a significant role in students' lives that extends far beyond test scores. To learn more, visit manitobapork.com/teacher. Now we're getting into some sports. Delaloi takes the lead at NGCC Championship by Casper Warehan. And pictures as Hayden Delaloi took the top spot at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club Championship, held on August 13 and 14. Hayden Delaloi was in top form on the course again this year at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club's Championship. Delaloi took the title of junior champion with a -1 round of 71 and secured the men's club champion title with a total of -1, 71, 72 over the 2 days. Speaking on his success, Delaloi told the Banner and Press that he didn't put any pressure on himself for the duration of the event. "I just went out there and played the game," said Delaloi. "My putting over the weekend was getting pretty good, and I was also able to hit the fairways consistently, and that really helped ensure that for most of the holes, I was playing for par." NGCC General Manager and CPGA golf professional Landon Cameron lauded Delaloi's growth and performance, stating, "Hayden has grown into a very, very good player. He's one of those guys who could win club championship for 20 years straight. He's a solid player, and pressure on his home course just doesn't rattle him." Cameron added, "There were some very good players behind him, but he was able to separate himself from the field on Saturday and held on with a nice round on Sunday." Danielle Bell was declared the ladies' club room champion with a +20 round of 93, and Mike Lewandowski won in a playoff over Merv Bone and Don Small to take home the senior men's champion title, sitting at a +6 round of 79. "The weekend was great and worked out well," Cameron enthused. "You could not have asked for better conditions over the course of 2 days. The wind wasn't an issue, and the course was in exceptional shape, as you can see by the scores that were put up on the board." And pictured by Casper Warren, "Seasons come and go, and hockey season is right around the corner." This crew were busy on Tuesday morning starting to paint lines on the ice at the Yellowhead Center. Showing here, they are preparing to paint a brand new line. Winter's coming. Portage Padres win SCBL Championship by Owen Devereaux. The Portage Padres are once again the top team in the Santa Clara Baseball League, defeating the Plumas Pirates in 4 games for the championship. After ending up with a tie at 13-13 in the first game of the series on Tuesday, August 2nd, the Padres won the next 3 to score the title. The first victory was a 14-10 in Plumas on August 3rd. Then the Padres collected a home win in Portage La Prairie on August 9th by a score of 11-4. The third and final win was back in Plumas on August 11th, as the Padres blanked the Pirates 4-0. Pitcher Joey Moffett earned the win on the mound for Portage in that deciding game. New event celebrating Carberry's 140th year. First annual Carberry Homecoming to take place August 27th by Kira Patterson. Something big is on its way to Carberry, coinciding with the town's 140th year. On August 27th, Carberry's Homecoming Festival will fill the community with music, food, and all kinds of fun for all ages. It is a first-time event, and while not specifically for the 140th, we would have held it anyway. We are making sure we use the event to also celebrate the milestone, stated Alicia Funk, Economic Development Officer for the town of Carberry. We plan for this to be an annual event in the future. There will be activities going on throughout the community, including free swimming, a scavenger hunt, markets and sales, food vendors, a community art project, beer gardens, and live performance. The event is free, and there will be something for all ages. They can just come down to Main Street anytime from 3 to 11 p.m. We'll be closing off 2 blocks of Main Street, and there will be activities along this length, explained Funk. Homecoming was organized by volunteers with the help of dozens of sponsors. Our key sponsors include the Carberry and Area Community Foundation, the Carberry Chamber of Commerce, the Town of Carberry, and the Municipality of North Cyprus Langford, added Funk. It has really been a community effort, with many groups planning activities throughout the day, including the Legion hosting beer gardens, the Carberry Museum hosting a Queen's Jubilee tea, for example. Funk noted that the day will be kicked off with a bike parade at 3 p.m., with kids' activities running until 7 p.m. Some of the fun for the young ones, and the young at heart, includes reptile gardens, lawn games, and a foam party. If you do not know what a foam party is, think about what would happen if you put dish soap in a dishwasher. Bubbles everywhere, she explained, so kids should come ready to get wet. The live entertainment should include music from several artists, such as Shannon Downey, Vertigo, Midnight Renegade, and Nothing But Trouble. And of course there will be food vendors for our hungry guests, said Funk. With countless activities going on that day, Funk noted that there is just too much to list it all. The best way to find out all that Homecoming has to offer is to show up and check it out for yourself. And dolphins have a splashing time in Neepawa, submitted by the Blue Dolphins. On Sunday, August 14th, the Neepawa Blue Dolphins hosted several other clubs. The local swimmers had a grand day and the weather was as hot as the action in the pool. Results as follows. Girls 8 and under, Riley Wilson won first in the 500-meter backstroke and the 500-meter freestyle, fourth in the 25-meter freestyle. Nora Reed, first in the 25-meter freestyle. Girls 9 to 10, Sasha Akri, fourth in the 25-meter breaststroke and sixth in the 50-meter freestyle. Arwen Milligan, third in the 50-meter breaststroke. Girls 11 and 12, Carly Strelzik, ninth in the 50-meter freestyle. Ann Crossan, second in the 25-meter butterfly and 50-meter backstroke, third in the 50-meter freestyle and the 110-meter breaststroke, and fourth in the 50-meter breaststroke. Katja Anderson, first in the 25-meter butterfly, second in the 25-meter freestyle and 100-meter freestyle, fourth in the 50-meter freestyle, fifth in the 50-meter breaststroke. Maya Gingras, first in the 25-meter freestyle, second in the 50-meter butterfly and 50-meter freestyle, third in the 25-meter breaststroke. Sydney Wolf, fourth in the 25-meter breaststroke, fifth in the 100-meter breaststroke, sixth in the 50 freestyle, and seventh in the 50-meter butterfly. Taylor Jacobson, first in the 100-meter freestyle, second in the 100-meter breaststroke and 100-meter IM, and third in the 50-meter butterfly and 50-meter breaststroke. Karina Wither, first in the 50-meter backstroke, fifth in the 50 meters freestyle. The girls 13 to 14, Charlie Carefoot, first in the 25-meter freestyle, third in the 50-meter breaststroke, fourth in the 100-meter IM, fifth in the 50-meter freestyle, sixth in the 100-meter breaststroke. Ashley Nadeau, first in the 50-meter and 100-meter freestyle, 50-meter breaststroke, and 50-meter breaststroke. Elisa Nadeau, first in the 25-meter, 100-meter, and 200-meter breaststroke, second in the 25-meter butterfly, first in the 200-meter IM. Aaliyah Jacobson, first in the 100-meter butterfly, second in the 200-meter IM, fourth in the 100-meter backstroke, fifth in the 100-meter backstroke, fifth in the 100-meter IM, and seventh in the 100-meter breaststroke. Claire Ann Howe, second in the 25-meter breaststroke, third in the 25 meters freestyle, seventh in the 50-meter breaststroke, ninth in the 50-meter breaststroke. Girls 15 and over. Cami Smith, first in the 25 and 200-meter freestyle, 100 and 200-meter breaststroke, and 100-meter IM. Cassidy Smith, first in the 50-meter backstroke, second in the 25-meter butterfly, 25-meter breaststroke, third in the 50-meter breaststroke. Anastasia Artiuka, first in the 50 and 100-meter butterfly and 100-meter freestyle. Boys 9 and 10, Austin Nadeau, first in the 50-meter butterfly and 100-meter freestyle, second in the 25-meter butterfly, seventh in the 25-meter breaststroke. Luther Dick, first in the 25-meter freestyle, 50-meter and 100-meter backstroke. Joey Smith, second in 100-meter backstroke, fourth in the 50-meter backstroke. Lucas Uvato, sixth in the 25-meter freestyle. Max Funk, fourth in the 25-meter breaststroke, ninth in the 25-meter freestyle. 11 and 12, Felix Carefoot, second in the 25-meter breaststroke, fifth in the 25-meter freestyle, eighth in the 50-meter freestyle, seventh in the 50-meter breaststroke. J.C. Smith, first in the 25-meter breaststroke, 50-meter butterfly, second in the 25-meter butterfly, third in the 50-meter breaststroke, and fourth in the 25-meter freestyle. Aaron Dick, ninth in the 50-meter freestyle. Daniel Milligan, second in the 200-meter breaststroke, third in the 25-meter freestyle, fourth in the 50-meter breaststroke. Boys 13 to 14, Ruben Dick, first in the 100-meter freestyle, 50-meter and 100-meter backstroke, and 50-meter breaststroke. There were also some fantastic relays teams sent out under the direction of Coach Claire Beaumont. Excellent assistance by Jaden Hankey. The team finishes up the season in Beausejour on Sunday, August 21st. You can also check the results at Swim Manitoba. That's a lot of kids swimming in that. And let's see. Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup results. From July 30th to August 1st, more than 50 young cattle producers from Manitoba and Saskatchewan came to the Ag Grounds in Neepawa for the 15th annual Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup. While there, they learned new skills, completed workshops, and took part in competitions such as judging, showing, and grooming. These results are continued from an article in the August 12th edition of the Neepawa Banner Press. Due to space constraints, we were unable to print all the results last week. Mixed breed Shorthorn and Hereford. Class 1 mixed breed Heifer Calf, Harley Carlson. Grand Champion Heifer Calf, Harley Carlson. Class 2 mixed breed Yearling Heifer class, William Keane. Junior Champion mixed breed Female, William Keane. Class 3 mixed breed 2-year-old with calf, Harley Carlson. Senior Champion mixed breed Female, Harley Carlson. Grand Champion mixed breed Female, William Keane. Reserve Grand Champion mixed breed Female, Harley Carlson. Commercial show. Class 1 Heifer Calf, Laura Christensen, Sviana Bjornsson, and Eric Schultz. Champion Commercial Heifer Calf, Laura Christensen. Reserve Champion Commercial Heifer Calf, Sviana Bjornsson. Class 2A, Split 1 Commercial Bred Heifer class, Clayton Rutan, Eric Schultz, Sadie Sawchuk, Quinn Sawchuk, Summer Sawchuk. Class 2B, Commercial Bred Heifer class, Sigga Vigfusson, Lucas Cavers, Shaden Mans, Fianna Bjornsson. Junior Championship, Commercial Female, Caitlin Rutan. Reserve Junior Champion, Eric Schultz. Class 3, Commercial 2-year-old with Natural Calf at Foot, Laura Christensen and Sviana Bjornsson. Class 4, Commercial Cow with Calf at Side, Jason Schultz. Grand Champion Commercial Female, Caitlin Rutan. Reserve Grand Champion Female, Laura Christensen. Commercial Bull Calf Champion, Jason Schultz. Fat Steer Show, Class 6, Steer Class. Thomas Allen, Cohen Canart, Ivy Allen, Shaden Mans, and Hanley Fair. Grand Champion Steer Award, Thomas Allen. Reserve Grand Champion Steer Cohen Canart. And that concludes this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.